Epic Games versus Apple. The Monopoly, as they call them. It's become one of the bigger, I guess, gaming stories of the year already, and it's only been not even 24 hours as of me recording this. This is a pretty big situation, to be honest, because this either is going to be something that just gets honestly struck down pretty quick, or a conclusion comes very quickly, or this might really kind of expose a big gaping hole in Apple, in all reality. So, Epic Games, which is the creators of Fortnite, have gotten into a legal dispute which is now apparently going to court with Apple, you know, the company that makes the phones, computers, watches. So I guess to kind of open this video off, I want to talk about Apple first. So a big problem that a lot of people have with Apple is the fact that they have basically created a situation on their devices where Apple gets to kind of selectively choose what's on their platform. So basically on Apple devices, the only real safe way to download applications without like jailbreaking the phone or doing something crazy like that, you have to download apps through the App Store, which is run by Apple. So apps that meet all their criteria basically get listed on Apple's devices, which make up a pretty significant market share, might I add. So another problem that people have with this, just beyond that point right there, is the fact that the Apple Store basically will charge a 30% fee for all revenue that's generated through their platform. So hypothetically, if you sell, I don't know, $10 worth of something in a video game on Apple's devices, right? Apple will get $3 out of that. So Apple apparently has been kind of, I guess, abusing this though. They've been giving certain applications and companies privileges to where they basically don't have to pay that 30% fee and using it to selectively punish other companies. Spotify has been like a big proponent of Apple being, I guess, like pirates in a way for a pretty long time. They've been saying that they're being unfairly treated on Apple's platform because obviously they are the biggest competitor in all reality to Apple Music. And that's another problem that a lot of people have. A lot of politicians especially. They think that Apple basically, well, even Google, but Apple in this situation, not only get the App Store, but they have all their own apps that basically compete and take away user base. So people think that Apple should have to choose between having the platform or having the apps like, you know, Apple Music or anything like that. So what caused this whole situation basically is Epic Games, of course, Fortnite is also available on mobile devices. You know, you got it on the PS4, Xbox, PC, you can get it on your Android or your iPhone. Well, you could get it on your iPhone, but you can't anymore because Apple removed them from Apple's App Store. And the reason behind that was, you gotta think back to that 30% fee. Basically, Epic made a bypass around the App Store transaction to the point where you could basically buy V-Bucks directly from Epic, which meant that Apple had no ability to take that 30% cut anymore. So Apple saw this and they got pretty pissed and they just said, you know what, watch this, I guess, and they took them off the App Store. So Epic has been running this big social media campaign called #FreeFortnite. They've been basically playing this video nonstop.
Today, we celebrate the anniversary of the platform unification directives. For years, they have given us their songs, their labor, their dreams. In exchange, we have taken our tribute, our profits, our control. This power is ours and ours alone. We shall prevail.
Now basically, if you don't understand the context of this video, Apple has one of the most famous commercials of all time. It was one that helped introduce the Macintosh on a grand scale. And this is last century, of course. This is back in like the 1980s, I believe. Basically, this ad compared the current technological situation to 1984 from George Orwell, because at that time, IBM was like dominating the market, basically. So they made it out like, oh, you know, IBM has a foothold on the computer industry. Apple's Macintosh is here to break through that and to, you know, break through the 1984 dystopia. And so basically Epic is parodying that by saying that Fortnite is like standing up against the Apple monopoly. Now, a better term for Apple is not a monopoly. It's actually an oligopoly. So I don't think Apple has a full-on monopoly yet. I mean, they may be, well, working towards it, but honestly, they're not even close, in my opinion. I mean, maybe in like a few years they could pull it off if some crazy stuff happened and the government didn't get involved, but I don't think they have a monopoly yet. So, Epic and Apple are basically going head-to-head now over this. Now, of course, once again, this is a concern that other companies have raised before, and this is going to probably set a pretty big precedent, this case. So, the thing is, and this is what I guess goes against Epic maybe in this case, they agreed to the terms of service when they put their app up, and then willingly violated that terms of service. Now, Apple's gonna play that point like crazy in court, I think, because it might be their strongest argument, like, yeah, they willingly broke the rules and then wondered what happened. So, Epic, though, is going to try and basically make the point that the rules aren't fair, that it's basically just Apple kind of, I guess, putting their thumb down on the competition, and that they did this to make a point. Now, when it comes down to it, morally, I probably do side with Epic in this one, because sure, you know, I don't think Apple should have the kind of power that they do over smartphones. And of course, you know, the whole point of, I guess, having it all go through the App Store is for security and whatnot, but it's become pretty clear that Apple has the ability to use that to their advantage. That Apple has, even if they don't use it directly for their advantage, the potential is there and they could start doing it at any time. And that's pretty much what Epic here is trying to play on. Now, at the same time, well, not at the same day, basically, Google Play Store also removed Fortnite from the listings. But the thing about Android compared to an iPhone, right? Like, I have an iPhone, okay? It's a okay phone, you know, it does its job. I don't really care about the whole smartphone race, it's not a big deal to me. Once again, I can only get apps through Apple's verified app store if I don't jailbreak this phone or do something extremely shady. Now, with an Android phone, even if Fortnite is off the Google Play Store, you can still go to several different outlets, you know, the Galaxy Store, I think Amazon has its own app store, or you can just go online and download APKs and stuff for apps and just install it onto your phone. Sure, it's a little bit less secure for the average user and whatnot, but there's a lot more freedom than there is with this iPhone. So even though it's removed from Google Play or whatever, people can still play it on Android with no problem. Now this has created like this big, like, I guess, Apple fanatic versus Fortnite fan revolution almost. It's been pretty crazy to see, but even though I kind of morally stand with Epic because of the whole situation, I think Apple will probably win this lawsuit, simply because, number one, they're a big company, bigger than Epic Games to be honest. They probably have a crazy legal team, and they're going to find any loophole they can to abuse. And like I said, they're just going to use that TOS argument to the death of it, you know what I'm saying? That's going to be all over the courtroom, I'm pretty sure. But when it comes down to it, man, it's going to be a precedent-setting situation, because whoever wins this case is going to kind of decide how a lot of these future cases go. Now, if Epic Games really has a shot, I think other companies will have to join in with this lawsuit. I don't think Epic is going to be able to make this stand alone, but what I do think will happen, and I think this will definitely benefit Epic's point, is if other companies start to kind of be emboldened to step up and actually like face Apple almost, you might see like a big combined lawsuit where everyone just kind of goes after Apple. Now, Microsoft has already been complaining about Apple being selective because of their xCloud technology. So if other companies kind of jump on board here and they start to, like, I guess, join into this lawsuit, I mean, they're gonna have a rough time defending themselves, honestly. I mean, it's a lot harder to find you know, 5 massive companies than just one, especially when they're all making the same point and they're kind of fighting in unison. Now, I believe Spotify has already spoke up in support of Epic Games. Like I said, Spotify's already been fighting with Apple for a long time about this. I do believe Spotify may join in on this. I believe Spotify might join in on the lawsuit. Now, if Epic's side wins, we might start to see the cracks forming around Apple's, I guess, App Store, because at that point, with all the public pressure, with the lawsuits not going in their favor, they may have to just open it up and start to be, I guess, fair. Maybe allowing other app stores onto their devices and whatnot. But if Apple wins, man, it's gonna be bad. At least for other companies trying to be on their store, because then basically they have free will to do what they want. But when it comes down to it, man, like, I really do have to, I guess, stand with Epic in one way. So, I mean, Epic is losing a lot of money by doing this. You know, when it comes down to it, right, not having Fortnite on Apple's devices, that takes away a huge chunk of their player base that could be spending money. So they are losing money by doing this. I mean, sure, maybe they would have saved, you know, a lot of money if Apple didn't take them off or whatever, but I'm pretty sure they expected to be taken off because they had this video or whatnot ready. Now, when it comes down to it, man, they're losing a lot of money by this. And even though they are losing this money, they're still making this stand. So I do have to actually, like, give kudos to Epic Games for that, right? They're actually, standing behind their message. They're not being pressured by money and corporate status from Apple. They care about this message. Maybe for their own personal benefit, maybe it is for what they say, and they really do want to make it a fair play field for everybody, right? I have no idea. But at the end of the day, right, like, it takes a lot of courage for a company to lose this kind of money and just keep walking forward with it. And they're going to continue to lose money throughout this whole situation. But, I think the press that's building up is positive for them, and I think at the end of the day, they may have a shot in court, but I really don't see them winning, to be honest.